Good evening once again, degenerate filth, and welcome back to the second part of the Pokemusu. I don't know why we're here, but here we are. Alright, let's see then. Magnemite. Oh. I've never been into the robot girl thing. It's always reminded me of the whole warning label on heavy machinery. Don't fist the android girls, but, well, at least she's tiny, I guess. Long, wow, legs too. The metallic Musu, Magnemite, are often confused for automatons. There are Wait. I'm trying to remember if there are robots in the Pokemon universe, which... Surely not, right? But they are living, define living, while their skin is durable and shines like metal, is also soft and warm to the touch. Thermodynamic would like a word or two with you about this. Researchers have sought to learn what exactly they're made of, but that would require an autopsy and nobody has ever seen a dead Magnemite before. Have you considered creating one? Magnemite needs electricity to move, and without it, they go into hibernation-like state. Well, there's your autopsy right there, goddammit. Because of this need for energy, the Musu tends to gather near Pikachu towers and other areas rich with electricity. How'd they live before humans invented electricity? Have there always been Pikachus? Do the Pikachus teach humanity about electricity in this universe? Human society rarely encounters Magnemites. Don't Pikachus hang out near human society? As they tend to be cautious around humans and their settlements. This is primarily because Magnemites are very analytic and prefer to be in situations that are predictable. Unlike other Musus, humans are very unpredictable for them, though some Magnemites are intrigued by humans for the same reason. With their strong shields and durable frames, few dare attack a Magnemite. However, if they're threatened, they can direct electrical discharge to stun and distort enemies. With their knowledge of electricity, Magnemite also limits their discharge to only stun foes and never kill them. Well, that's nice at least. Pass. Definite pass. No doubt about it. Worse. Okay, I'm getting some old biblical angel vibes going here. That's not a good thing, incidentally. Magnemite aren't the metal bodies we see them as, but actually a collection of sapient electricity. Sure. That inhabits a metallic body. Because of this, when a Magnemite grows significantly, they are able to expand their field of influence and control multiple bodies at once. In this state, we refer to them Musu as Magneton. With increased size, Magneton requires large amounts of energy to sustain themselves. To accomplish this, many Magneton will make agreements with Pikachu towers to defend their premises in exchange for electricity. They need an agreement? Magneton typically hypersized that having extra bodies will improve their socialization ability, but it typically has the opposite effect, as humans look at their dismembered appearance with fear. To counter this, Magneton try to announce themselves loudly to humans that cross their paths. This rarely helps matters. I can see why. The transformation process that Magneton undergoes gives them extra limbs that enable the Musu to more easily defend themselves with phalanx-like postures. Additionally, they're able to focus the reflective surfaces of their shields and focus the beams to create a devastating flash cannon.
Citizenship.
Pass. Farfetched. We're far too deep in furry territory by now. The rambunctious wild duck Musu, Farfetched, requires no introduction. You presume far too much of me, as they happily introduce themselves to anyone they encounter, regardless of who or where they are. They're easily English, recognizable by the V pattern across their foreheads and the leeks they carry. Farfetched are known to live in forests where wild leeks grow, while they primarily use vegetables as a weapon. Much like my mother. They also love to eat them, and they consider a leek's inability to be a perk of using them as a weapon. The Musu will often tell outrageous stories about themselves to any humans that will listen, which leads to humans assuming them to be entertainers. This can lead to mixed feelings from Farfetched, since they appreciate the attention from humans but are also incredibly serious about their claims of grandeur. Farfetched smugly claim they can wield leeks better than even a warrior can use a sword. While sounding absurd, there is some truth to the claim, as a Farfetched feathers have an innate magical quality that hardens object they touched. Okay, I'm warming to the possibility. With their feathers, making their leeks into a fierce club, though this magic is unreliable, only works around 12.5% of the time. I'm pretty sure that's a success rate significantly lower than Viagra, so if human scientists have already figured around the permanent erection problem, then I guess we don't need the Farfetched. Pass. And now we're getting into some seriously deep fetish territory here today. How do you have sex with conjoined twins? Blindfolds, I presume, incidentally. The twin bird Musu Do is one that perplexes researchers, or should I say two? Well, no, actually, we do have a fair bit of understanding as to how exactly conjoined twins work. They've got separate circulatory systems, they've got separate brains. For all real intents and purposes, they're two people, assuming that, the person is in the brain, unless you're assuming that the soul is somehow tied within the same body, in which case I suppose it would get a pinch crowded, but clearly not. Because there is evidence to indicate that Dodo are one entity as well as two. The pair seems to always know what the other is thinking, though they don't share sensations. Some think this is due to telepathy and not physiology, but Dodo have no sign of magical aptitude. The preferred habitat of Dodo are vast green plains that give them plenty of space to run about. The Musu's considered frolicking as a form of expression and likes to have as much space as possible to experience true freedom of motion. That is the question, though. In a pair of conjoined twins, who controls the legs? Who does control the legs? Is conjoined the correct term? Urge to Google, they're overwhelming. Humans have difficulty communicating with conjoined twins. Of course, this is because both heads will speak at the same time and ignore what the other is saying when the pair meet a new friend. Because of this, few humans are able to form meaningful bonds with the Musu, though it is possible if a human can pass out the two personalities and make a connection with each of them. With their impressive speed, the Dodo have a little trouble outrunning most aggressors they encounter. Even if it's inconvenient, they'd much rather run than fight, as the Musu abhors violence. Well, that's nice. What do they eat exactly? Leeks, I guess? Pass. Dodrio, it gets worse. The triple bird Musu. Dodrio occurs when a Doduo mysteriously develops a third torso. Fair enough. It's magic. I ain't gonna explain shit. The causes of this are unknown, and when questioned about the change, Dodrio will say that they've always had 3 heads, despite retaining memories of times when they only had 2. There have always been female custodies. Similar to Doduo, Dodrio preferred to live in lush plains with plenty of sun. Originally, it was theorized that Dodrio would become leaders of clusters of Doduo, but in practice this isn't the case, as the Musu has too much difficulties getting each of their 3 heads to agree on something to actually lead anything. Dodrio are a rare sight to humans, as they live far from society and the few humans that interact with them have difficulty conversing with 3 different personalities vying for attention, though some travelers take advantage of this and go out of their way to get them into arguments for entertainment. All 3 of Dodrio's personalities have motor control of the body, meaning they cannot move unless they all agree on an action. However, when defending themselves, they can work in perfect harmony, easily overpowering foes with their strong legs and fleeing from danger. Somehow I find this dubious. Pass. Seal. Well, if you find brain-damaged girls appealing, which I know some people do, then there you go, I suppose. The sea lion Musu. Seal is known for their soft white fur. Do sea lions have fur? I suppose they do. An iconic twin-sided fin. Most see the Musu assume them to be completely covered in fur, but that isn't the case. As the Musu? I hate the fact that they keep doing divided lines. Only naturally grows hair on their neck, and trim their fur to make coats to cover the rest of their body. see. Seal will settle in cold coastal areas exclusively, as their warm coats easily keep them warm in brisk areas like the Seaform archipelago. While they can take off their coats, their fur grows in too fast to comfortably live anywhere warm. A seal's tail is an oft-used icon for many shipping grounds, as it symbolizes most sailors recognize when traveling waters near seal residence. As such, many humans are aware of the Musu tails but know little else about them. Self-defense is tricky for seal. While their horns can be used as a weapon, it is much more useful for cracking ice than defending themselves. They're normally very passive anyway, so a seal will typically prefer to trick an adversary into looking at an Aurora Borealis formation and flee than stand their ground and fight. Unfortunately, this stratagem seldom works. Yes, considering how rare those are. Also, I suppose this explains the mildly derpy face. If it's used to cracking ice with its head, then that would probably introduce pretty severe brain trauma sooner rather than later. Pass, because I feel like we're back on the underage can it even consent train yet again. On the other hand, do Pokemusu have rights? The sea lion Musu Dugong is found in exceptionally cold places. While they don't appear to have much fur, the fur they do possess is incredibly dense. The same can also be said of their bodies, muscle, and fat deposits. I've seen more impressive, honestly. The same time, their lithe, wide tails give them great control when swimming in frigid waters. The Musu tends to live near seal communities, but in even colder areas. In these frozen locations, they can find solitude to perfect their tailoring process and create incredible elaborate fur coats. Owning a dugong-made coat is considered a symbol of high status and devotion to fashion. This is primarily because dugongs only create their coats custom to order, meaning that one will have to make their treacherous journey to a dugong's home and convince them to create such a coat for them. In trade for what exactly? What is the economy of Dugongia? Dugong don't fight as a matter of principle. The only fight occurring with the Dugong was when a Mankey heard rumors of their great combat potential and journeyed to fight the Musu. The Dugong refused and took a nap instead. This enraged the Mankey, who flew into a fury. However, their attacks were ineffective on the sleepy Dugong, and she eventually passed out from exhaustion. Why? Pass. The brain damage was still too clear. We used to have some decent ones. I see that time is long past. The sludge Musu, Grimer, is known foremost for extreme toxic bodies that poison plant life on contact. Pass. That's all I need to know. Ah, good, of course. The sludge Musu muck is the result of Grimer being neglected over time. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of them. They grow much larger, and their toxins become potent enough to dissolve through the safeguard cities used for Grimer homes. Stone-treated steel and even some enchantments corrode in the air around them. Muck cannot be contained, and always search for others to dissolve in a process they refer to as becoming one with. This hunger is never-ending, which means they can live wherever they can find people to eat. Thankfully, in modern times, muck are a rare sight, and in the event of one's appearance, cities have evacuation plans in order to get everyone to safety. If it eats through literally everything, what exactly do you define as safety? As such, it is important to keep Grimers satisfied to prevent similar tragedies from happening again. Muck are a nightmare to encounter, and only the most grizzled adventurers would consider battling one. Those who lack magical talents have no chance of success, as a muck's bodies are practically impervious to physical attack, and those with magical talent will have considerable trouble, as their toxins erode at most magic as well. Pass. It just actually keeps getting worse somehow. Shelldeer. Submerged in the ocean are purple shells that can stay tightly shut when outsiders are around. This is the outside of the bivalve Musu Shelldeer. The inside of said shell contained their soft purple bodies. Purple. Shelldeer dwell in most oceans surrounding Kanto. They tend to keep to themselves, as the Musu is wary of strangers, since they don't like leaving their shells. That's an option, is it? They use their long tongues to gather information from their surroundings. Said tongue is so sensitive that it can detect changes in the ocean faster and more accurately than magic measurements can. Sailors try to keep Shelldeer a secret first. This is because Shelldeer produce pearls as a hobby, which the sailor would acquire and resell for massive profit. However, with no explanation of where they got their pearls, they couldn't sell them and had to come clean. What? The government intervened? Listen, if you can't show me a sufficient license for where your pearls are gathered from, sir, we're not going to allow you to buy them. However, with no explanation, Shelldeers have an unusual relationship with Slowpoke. They have an attraction to Slowpoke's nectar, and it will bite their tails as they soak in water. Doing this will drastically change Shelldeer's appearance, and they'll become much less responsive. After separation from a Slowpoke, they return to normal, but have little memory of the change at all. There's a lot of mind control Musus going around. Pass. Cloister. I always thought that looked like a vagina. Sometimes when a Shelldeer makes a pearl from sand, they'll create a water stone instead. Just out of nowhere. This elementally charged material sparks a change in Shelldeer, transforming them into a cloister. This change gives them a second inner shell that shapes their body into an exaggerated hourglass figure and gives their outer shells sharp points. If you're in waters where cloisters live, they will make sure you know it. This is because the ostentatious Musu loves to be the center of attention and show off their exceptional skill whenever possible. Skill at what? Most humans consider cloisters demeanor to be obnoxious and tend not to associate with them. However, because they change by creating a water stone, all cloister know the secret to making them. So those seeking the rare stone must find a way to appease the Musu. When a cloister is attacked by someone stronger than them, they hide in their shell. When attacked by someone they think is weak, they respond by launching spike projectiles from the gap above their heads. These are made by the cloister ahead of time and can be formed from various materials. They fire no less than 5 at a time and seldom miss. We're getting there, but pass yet again. Gastly. We're just not getting anywhere with this today. We're just not getting anywhere. The Gas Musu. Trust me. If you've known a gassy woman, you'll understand that you don't want a second one. Gastly are mischievous spirits that use purple mist as a means to cross into the world. As a weapon, I was about to think. Because the soul cannot interact with the physical world without the mist. Said vapor engulfs the entirety of their body. You know, some fat people I've known are much like that. Yeah, no. Gastly can be found in places where the barrier between life and death is thin. Graveyards, abandoned battlefields, as well as other places racked with grief and pain are perfect for Gastly to make their crossings. In sharp opposite to the occupied battlefield. Just hanging around there after it's done, I guess. Nearly every human settlement has stories that parents tell to their children in an effort to scare them into good behavior. Many of said stories involve Gastly, though they tend to vary in the depictions of the Musu. Some say Gastly crawl into the ears of kids who lie and steal their memories. Others claim they spirit unruly children to the land of the dead. They vary significantly and all are incorrect. The dead have no reason to fight. Instead, Gastly focus on terrifying others. Physical attacks are useless against them, but skilled psychics can tamper with their connection to the physical world and even exorcise them from the mortal realm. This can be done with many spirits, but is most effective with those like Gastly. Pass. Haunter. Yep, indeed. Few gaze upon the garnish purple visage of a Haunter and live to tell about it. From the few accounts we have on record, the Musu is shrouded in purple mist and has a large disjointed hands with 3 fingers. They can easily hide in darkness and seldom show themselves to anyone besides their victims. Haunter prefers to stay in dark areas near human settlements, such as alleyways and abandoned homes. From these vantage points, they find it easy to prey upon humans. There are many horror stories centered around Haunter, most referencing their ability to mimic the voices of others, a skill they use to lure unsuspecting victims to them. It is said that Haunter can stand light, so very haunters while many can't stand light, so very wary haunters. I really hate the splitting of the words, will carry launchers into dark areas to avoid a Haunter's wrath. Hunter-Haunter. Battling a Haunter is a fool's errand, as brief contact with their tongue will drain the life force of anyone they come in contact with. This, coupled with their ability to fade into darkness and their propensity for trickery, make it difficult to avoid their traps. Only a seasoned psychic has any chance of sending a Haunter back to the afterlife, and even then, Haunter employ many tactics to distract such individuals. Pass. Gengar. I mean, the whole vein-blasted tittage might be appealing to some, but we're still not getting any closer to the Smashers here. Rarely seen, thank God, Gengar are a Musu that appears to be made of shadows themselves. They're a dark purple hue, and despite their large size, are lighter than air. They have large purple points that look sharp but disappears like vapor when touched physically. As of now, we have no clue where they came from or where they're here, or why they're here. Unlike other Ghost Musu, Gengar are quite mobile, with an ability to hide within and manipulate shadows. Because of this, plenty of Gengar will hide in darkness underneath travelers' wagons to visit new villages in search of new people to scare. The earliest work of Cantonian literature is an epic poem depicting the young Nidorina Boke and his quest to track down and defeat the malevolent Gengar Hagata after she stole his betrothed's shadow. You can do that? Is that a superpower in this universe? It's considered a timeless classic and has had countless interpretations. This universe versions of Mickey Mouse or, well, the Disney tales, I guess. Peter Pan. Despite many people's negative association with Gengar, they don't like fighting and will always disengage to avoid confrontation. They do still enjoy terrifying others, though, and will take every opportunity to do so, though they rarely mean any physical harm. Only psychological. Pass. Onyx. Sometimes mistaken for a landslide, the roaring stone serpent Onyx towers over most other Musu. Their long tails made of interlocking boulders that independently rotate on their own axes, and they have long protruding horns atop their heads that help them steer as they swim through the earth. Sure. Onyx tends to dwell in rocky areas such as mountains or caves, though some have been seen around deserts in rare occasions as well, due to the Musu's irritable temperament. They rarely settle near other Musu, and definitely not near other Onyxes. Humans are largely fearful of Onyx's poor temper and great strength. They'll go out of their way to steer clear of Onyx's territory when possible, though there's little they can do when an Onyx migrates near human settlements, as the Musu can easily destroy structures on accident just by burrowing around them, and they are often too irritable to negotiate with. Due to their immense size and intimidating roars, few consider attacking Onyx. As such, Onyx don't actually have many strategies for combat. Instead, they rely on their innate power, or if they don't feel confident in a fight, they will simply dive underground to flee instead. Pass. Chat. What is wrong with this list now? Is that other tube attached to its ass? I'm pretty sure that other tube is attached to its ass. Which means it presumably fights by placing its ass fart tube on your face and then queefing at you violently and repeatedly until you eventually pass out from the gas attack. Well, that is one way of fighting. Hypnosis Pokemusu. I don't know if I consider a farting gas attack to be hypnosis, but you do you. The stout yellow Musu, Drowsy, are known for carrying elaborate and complex machines. Said machines are primarily used to collect and store human dreams, which they consume by nourishment. The Musu exclusively eats dreams and has preferences for nice ones over nightmares, as the latter are too sour. The largest collection of Drowsy can be found east of the Vermilion Harbor. There they form a minor settlement named Sleepy Town. There they form deals with humans in the area to trade gizmos they create for the dreams of the locals. Human opinion on Drowsy varies significantly. Settlements that haven't seen one before will only hear rumors of mysterious dream thieves. while cities that have regular visitors will know they're averse to stealing and only gain dreams through legitimate trade. Many who suffer night terrors have great praise for the Musu, as taking a dream from a human removes their memories of it completely. Drowsy prefer not to fight, but if pressed to do so, will affix their ass blaster 2000s over the face of opponents and queef them into submission over a long period. Pass.
Heresy's the question.
Hypno.
Fire is the answer.
If it wasn't for the schnauzer and suspiciously Middle Eastern countenance, this would be the closest we've got so far, but the Hypnosis Musu Hypno are known for their tall ears atop their heads and the large white fur trim on their shoulders. They have a refined taste and are such dressed in fine silks. They are known for carrying a pendulum on them at all times. That is their primary instrument for performing hypnosis. Hypno most frequently live in lavish estates deep in the countryside. My urge to compare you to something Semitic rises for every passing second. Hypnos most frequently live in lavish estates deep in the countryside, far from the bustle of city life. This is because Hypno can only enjoy the highest quality dreams available, and this quiet environment is ideal for such dreams to form. The Musu rarely interacts with humans due to their distance from human settlements. When they do venture into human society, it is to find people to invite to their estate. Contrary to some beliefs, Hypno don't kidnap humans to harvest dreams from, as conflicts spoil their dreams. However, their demeanor and tone are often considered intense to most. Hypno don't concern themselves with conflict and will only rarely invade the Gaza Strip when America feels the need to provide them with adequate ammunition. Pass. Krabby. Well, I mean, at least she has a nice rack, I guess. The river crab Musu Krabby is quadrupedal with two large claws in front of them. Their limbs are all segmented with thick exoskeletons in contrast to their soft upper bodies with an endoskeleton. How the fuck does that work? How can you have an exoskeleton and an endoskeleton at the same time? Let's not ask any questions. Krabby can live almost anywhere near a body of water, be it beaches or riverbanks. They're quite adaptable, and their jubilant dancing festivals make them very popular with any locals they live nearby. While they have limited trading options since they only produce crafts and music, they more than make up for it with their pleasant demeanors. To be fair, I can see why this thing bouncing up and down could be an appealing sight. A significant amount of humans have abandoned their ways of life to go live with the Krabby. They refer to themselves as cravers, in reference to how they crave the Krabby's relaxed existence. Many of the humans that join their society come from highly skilled fields that put a great deal of stress on their practitioners, so despite their limited numbers, their villages are rarely wanting for necessities. Krabbies don't fight, well, their claws are quite powerful and can split solid wood in two. Their distaste for fighting is so great that they always prefer to avoid conflict than to involve themselves in it. Pass. Although that was the first one that I could at least see intercoursing with in some way. I am going to be snorting frequently, as it turns out that breathing through my mouth for extended periods while reading stuffs my nose up. Kingler. The pincer Musu Kingler is a result of a Krabby that has undergone extreme growth compared to their sisters, for no reason whatsoever. The exact cause of this is unknown, but nearly all Krabby settlers have a small population of Kinglers as well compared to their sisters. They are taller and wider and possess much stronger claws. Kingler tends to be much quieter and are subdued in their peers and act more as guardians to Krabby settlements than participants in their festivities. This is because Kingler's large size and strength make them a significant hazard if they lose themselves in dancing the way Krabby do. They do still enjoy music and other festivities though. While Krabby are energetic and talkative, Krangler are much more stoic and reserved. Humans often mistake them to be stern, spoil sports of Krabby festivities, but in reality, they only intervene to remove troublemakers that try to ruin the event. The massive claws of a Kingler are well suited for defense and can split stones and bend metal with ease. They are quite heavy though, which make them very wary of swinging them around in crowded settings, for risk of hitting someone or something by mistake. Well, isn't that nice? Still a pass though. Gooey. Gooey Musu. The ball Musu, Volto, is known for... Oh, balls. Gooey balls. I get it now. Testicles, except disgusting. Is known for the propensity to change their appearance to resemble household furniture. Most commonly, they change into models of furniture based on the Capsule Merchant Guild's design. They're fans of IKEA, I guess? As their ergonomic round shapes are easy for them to change into. Volto can change into other shapes, but only if they are relatively simple. They primarily live near human settlements in out-of-the-way locations such as alleyways or near warehouses. They live off latent energy and the environment from sources like social energy, the sun, as well as latent magical residue, and don't need to directly eat. Well, that's reassuring. Volto enjoy the social energy found in civilized areas, but can't stand direct social interactions with others. As such, they only move when they don't think they're being watched, and most humans are unaware of their presence. Because they loathe direct interaction, any who get too close to a Volto will be subject to an attack. This can take the form of electrical shocks, powerful blasts, or of a sound, or if sufficiently agitated, a massive explosion. As such, many people find Volto a dangerous and obnoxious pest. It decides to look like a chair and then explodes when somebody sits on it. Yes, pest sounds accurate. Pass. And that somehow is actually worse. That is actually just a big, gooey, cancerous testicle. When one finds the ball Musu electrode in the wild, it is usually too late to escape their explosive range. One can distinguish them by their unusual white and red coloring that they purposefully give off in an odd pattern to attract attention. It's currently believed that electrode are a result of maladaptation of Voltorb that becomes vindictive towards others. Electrode enjoys tricking others and as such will slip into habitated places like towns or other cities and transform into objects there. Once someone touches them or gets too close, the electrode will release their stored energy, causing severe damage to everything around them, either in the form of concussive force, sound, or electricity. Removing an electrode from a location requires a team of skilled technicians with appropriate tools for the job. As such, many large cities have such individuals prepared for the task. Smaller towns that lack such resources will need to contract adventurers for the job. Fighting isn't something electrode do, instead they explode. Okay, I question your usage of the term fighting here, although I do sort of agree in term. When Israel invades the Gaza Strip, that is not actual warfare because it's far too one-sided. Much like this, it's not fighting, it's simply large quantities of explosions. They can be contained, sedated, and in some cases temporarily disarmed. How? But fighting an electrode is almost always a recipe for disaster. Pass! I give up. I fucking... Pass! Listen. Listen. I don't need to read anymore. I know. What is with this fetish material? It turns out an execute's ideal soil is actually soil containing a leaf stone. Once they find such a location, they bury themselves inside and emerge as a massive tree-headed known as an executor. The coconut musu. Each of the executors' heads has a distinctive personality, which rarely argue because of the moose's relaxed nature. Executors love sunlight and consume a great deal of water daily. As such, there are few areas that are hospitable to them, mostly being damp jungles. Before extensive musu research began, executors were originally believed to be a joke. As the musu's strange appearance made them unbelievable to most without evidence. And their extreme rarity made such evidence hard for most to come by. Such beliefs still persist in some parts of the world. There are few threats to executor in the environments they live, though in circumstances where they are forced to do battle, they utilize their impressive psychic abilities to disorient foes into submission, or even communicate with foes through telepathy and confuse them into fleeing from the musu instead. I am confused. Pass! Cubone. Okay, something mildly normal. Those of the Cubone tribe are known as lonely mooses, though this is a bit of a misunderstanding amongst human society. Cubone live together in communal tribes. However, as part of their journey to adulthood, they must take a journey alone, with only their ancestral tools, which happen to be a skull and a large bone weapon. Makes sense. The tools of the Cubone are used for their ostomancy, bone magic. They consist of the skull of one of the ancient progenitors and a weapon, similarly forged from the skeleton of said ancestor. Father, it's time for you to die. But why, son? Why? I still have many good years left. Yes, but I require a new shovel. Hold on. Hold on. Starting over again. Father, it is time for you to die.
Service
But
guarantees
son,
citizenship.
daughter, I still have many good years left. Why? Well, because I require a new shovel. There we go. There you go. Gotta finish it through. Gotta use the props we have and available. Plus, the nostalgia critics overused that one a little bit too much. Where was I? The tools of Cubone, blah, 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 blah. Similarly forged from the skeletons of said ancestors. Said weapons can take many forms, and no two are alike. Though we've documented... How many types of weapon are there, actually? Though we've documented special clubs, knives, whips, and something resembling a beak to Corbin. Whips? How exactly do you make a... Finger bones? Yeah, no, you could do that. You just take a large quantity of finger bones, basically, and you tie them together with sinew from the dead person. You dry out the sinew, and you make a whip with finger bones. Or vertebra would work as well, I guess, for a haft. You could use vertebra for a haft. And then some teeth along the length, I guess, to give it a little bit of bite, if you'll excuse the metaphor. Maybe something nice and sharp at the tip, I guess. There you go, a bone whip. Cubone are wary of humans and as such have little contact with human society. Many humans fear them due to their skulls they wear on their reasonable, to get along with, albeit a bit shy. The bone magic of a Cubone allows them to grow and manipulate the bones of their ancestors as well as other bones they find. These make for formidable weapons for sure, though Cubones are hesitant to share specifics of the ritual they perform or the specific ability. Pass. Not good enough. Marowak. It's basically an Eldar Farset at this point, isn't it? The Cubone that succeed in their journey are given the title of Marowak, which loosely transitions to Bone Keeper. As the title suggests, Marowak have achieved mastery of their ostomancy to the point that they can transmute their bone weapons and armor to dust and back again with no loss to its strength. Most Marowaks become guardians and leaders of their tribe and do their best to protect and teach their Cubone sisters to hone their craft. Some, however, are sent to journey into the world, either to establish connections with other societies or to learn magic from outside the tribe. There are few humans who have met Marowak. The most common group to do so are knights that have fought alongside Marowak mercenaries. Said warriors have great respect for the Musu's power and were the first to confirm that Marowak skulls can be removed, as their skin-tight appearance make most people believe them part of their heads. The arrow and weapons of Marowak are quite complex and can shift mid-combat in different forms to suit their situation, a term many humans that fought alongside them dubbed trick weapons, a label which Marowak don't appreciate as there is no trick to their strength.
Heresy's the question.
Pass.
Fire is the answer.
Hitmonlee. God. The Kicking Musu. Kicking Musu, to be fair, there's a lot of women who kick and bite. Hitmonlee is known as such because of his incredible expertise with his leg. Where most Musu are capable of kicking things as a form of defense, Hitmonlee practice a martial art referred to as Lee Kwun Do, which enables them to make their strikes strong enough to shatter stone and tear through steel like tin foil. Bullshit. Hitmonlee tend to make their habitat near humans as their skills make it easy to find a place there. Many become excellent mercenaries, some able to decide to create dojos to teach others their knowledge, while humans lack Hitmonlee's physiology, there are many principles that can be taught regardless of the body type of the practitioner. They are willing to teach any one of these techniques provided they aren't connected with the mixed Chan style of martial arts, as the two schools are intense rivals. Humans think highly of Hitmonlee's fighting ability, and their aloof demeanor combined with their stoic mask make for a fascinating image for many. While Hitmonlee wear their masks to hide their intentions to opponents, most fans just think they look cool. Only the brave or fools attempt to attack Hitmonlee. Pass. Hitmonchan, finally! Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Hitmonchan are renowned through the lands as the masters of punching. As such, we refer to them as punching Musu. Congratulations, you've mastered the art of punching. You've become a punching thing now. Thank you. They look fairly similar to humans at a glance, but easily identified by the crimson hands and the crown-like horns atop their head. Humans have a great deal of respect for the Musu, as such many make their homes among human society, forming dojos and sport clubs to teach others their skill. Despite Hitmonchan's scowling demeanor, they're quite social and love to teach and learn from others about most anything, so humans athletes devise specialized boxing gloves based on Hitmonchan's hands, allowing humans to practice techniques without risk of damaging their fingers. The unique shape of Hitmonchan's hands are just for show. The thick skin and aerodynamic shape enable them to deliver punches at a blistering speed. Additionally, the mixed Chan style they practice enables them to manipulate natural magics to imbue their fist with elemental energy, inflicting vertigo on opponents as well as other unique effects. Whilst most cannot learn these techniques, Hitmonchan are happy to teach people who are interested in learning. I cast Fist. You are now confused. Alrighty then. Right, the first smash of all of this. And we're back to the passes again. Licky Tongue. Licky Tongue is a Musu we've creatively dubbed the Licking Musu. Kill yourself. They're most known for their long tongues, usually averaging 1.5 to 2 meters in length. Do you store them in your ass? Though another key feature to their appearance are their bulbous folded tails, which are exceptionally soft and often used as a comfortable seat when nothing else is available. The Licking Musu is rather peaceful and will settle in clearings near forests. Though they have been known to form villages in other locations as well, Lictung are known for being fastidious and tend to live in areas that are easy to keep neat and orderly. Humans have a mixed view of Lictung. While they are typically friendly to humans, their idea of friendship can be off-putting to some, as Lickitongues will typically clean friends with their tongues. They say that saliva is ideal for cleaning surfaces and dissolving grime, which was tested and found to be inconclusive. However, even with this explained to people, they often don't appreciate the gesture. While some Lickitung are skilled at applying their abilities for combat, most are pacifists and don't like fighting at all. Pass. Because I don't know where it's storing the rest of that tongue, and I think it's either within its enormous belly, which is weird, or within its ass-tail thingy, both of which I find discomforting. Koufeng. Poison gas Pokemusu. Well, if you subscribe to the theorem that every hole is a goal, then this one at least has several. The poison gas Musu Koufeng is the result of a fairly recent mutation. They used to be known by the name breathings and were air spirits that would filter smog from cities and process into clean air. However, the excess pollution has permanently altered them into their current form, Koufeng, which still processes smog, but instead of turning it into air, they transform it into a gas similar to methane, which is very combustible. I see very beneficial uses for you in the energy industry, and believe that you should and probably would be enslaved en masse. Koufeng tends to live near industrial areas, as they have the largest output of the smog they consume. The Musu likes to build floating spherical homes from discarded stone. Sure, why not? Which they often decorate with drawings. The Koufeng claims, "Go hard." Typically, these drawings include skulls, bones, and or angry faces. Most humans tend to stay away from the Koufeng, as they propel around using a highly explosive fuel, meaning even a small spark in their presence can lead to a massive detonation. If a Koufeng thinks they're in danger, they're more than willing to manually detonate their homes to blow an aggressor away. This tactic will almost always push the Koufeng harmlessly away from danger and leaves that aggressor in no state to pursue. Pass. Wheezing. And now it's sad. The poison gas Musu Wheezing look similar to Koufeng at a glance, but possess great strength and resilience on account of their larger gaseous bodies. They appear in areas that the Koufeng are known to inhabit, but due to conflicting descriptions, we aren't certain of how they come about. Well, incest, of course, duh. As mentioned, Weezing live in industrial areas with plenty of waste to consume and build their homes from their gaseous bodies are denser and more stable than Koffing's, which makes them less likely to detonate without warning. Though less likely doesn't mean they're incapable of it, it's just not as frequent. Generally, humans don't like to be around Weezing due to their uncleanliness, though their state of living is often exaggerated since they actually consume most of the waste around them and don't simply live near it. Weezing's gaseous state is far less reactive than Koffing's, but when it does want to explode, it is effective far more devastating. As such, the Musu is seldom bothered by others seeking a fight. Pass. Ryhorn. The Spike Musu Ryhorn is a grey quadrupedal Musu with rock-like scales that end in sharp points. However, most people initially see them from the front, as the Musu is known for charging headfirst towards those that catch their ire. They also have a short temper that causes most things to catch their ire. I see. It's most common for Ryhorn to live on plains near cave systems. Ah, yes, of course. Those rocky, cave-filled plains that I've heard so much about. They sleep in the caves and spend the rest of their time outside. They seldom build settlements because they get too frustrated when constructing to ever complete their buildings. Human legends say that the almighty ArchCast created Ryhorn before any other Musu because they needed something strong enough to carve the earth and angry enough to do so of their own volition. If this is true, they succeeded. While the Ryhorn are aggressive, they're also predictable. They often tie objects to themselves that clang loudly against the scales, which will give most people enough warning to get out of their way of their charge. They have limited turning capabilities when sprinting, so they won't be able to change course until they're long past their target. Pass. Rhydon, the Drill Musu. Rhydon changes from the quadrupedal Ryhorn into a bipedal form, with thicker rock-like scales and more pronounced drill-shaped horn on their forehead. Their thicker scale makes touch sensations very faint. Even something as strong as a punch won't be noticeable to them. We don't know how the Musu changes because when asked, they'll reply with something to the effect of, "I became the woman I am today because of who I was yesterday, and the day before at that." Tumbling forward, dashing through every challenge that I face. That's the way a drill works. Woman bash head against object. Woman eventually grow larger and stop bashing head against object. Woman learned lesson. This is not very realistic, I must say. We have no idea what that means. Human society have little contact with Rhydon, only knowing tales of their great strength and indomitable fortitude, both of which are undoubtedly true. However, they often assume that the other aspect of the Musu are more notable, that they are upon meeting them, they're often surprised by their demeanor. Rhydon scales make for excellent defense against physical force, and the muscle they pack behind it makes them formidable in their own right. While some Musu that specialize in martial prowess are able to prove Rhydon's match, few would try. Pass. Chansey, Egg Pokemusu. Okay, right. The egg part's a bit weird, but other than that. The Egg Musu Chansey is renowned across the world for its compassion to heal the wounded. They possess long pink hair and openly carry their famous eggs. These eggs absorb the latent healing energy from the Chansey and become a near-perfect panache that hasn't been replicated by human magic yet. Cure-all, incidentally. Chansey loves assisting others and will live in locations best facilitate this. Most often this results in them working in hospitals and cities and towns, where they are respected as wise and kind healers. Humans have a decent respect for Chansey and do their best to accommodate them as much as possible. Since human magic is relatively limited when it comes to healing wounds, the expertise of Chansey is required to alleviate many serious injuries. While Chansey have limited physical strength, their ability to manipulate their magic into offensive ways if needed. However, they possess something even more powerful than that: luck. For whatever reason, heavy misfortune befalls those who attempt to harm a Chansey. Lightning strikes, meteors, or earthquakes have all struck those that have targeted Chansey with violence. The source of these events is currently unknown. Right, well, the fact that she'll probably crack an egg over your head every time you take a bruise is a little bit discomforting, but... No. Pass. Bare feet. We've got a little bit too close to foot fetishism here. Definitely pass. Tangela. More foot fetishism. Pass. Kangaskhan. Cloven hoofs. Good enough. Kangaskhan, colloquially known as the parent Musu. That would make copulation highly uncomfortable. Have a rather unfitting title, which initial research dubbed them this way because of the pouch they have on their front of their body that carries their children. It's been found that the Musu has this pouch regardless of their parental status and often use them to carry things that aren't their offspring as well. Well, that's good. The Musu typically travel in wandering tribes that have strong communal bonds. Many of these tribes are self-sufficient, containing powerful warriors with a wide variety of skills and talents that allow them to conquer most challenges they face. That does not mean you are self-sufficient. You also require food, water, clothing apparently, medicine, all of the other things that a society need. Just bashing things does not mean that you're self-sufficient. Most humans only see Kangaskhan when their mother Kangaskhan take their children to visit large cities to teach them about humans. This is predominantly when they got their name Parent Musu, which they personally don't understand, as not all of them are mothers, nor do they define themselves as such. Most all Kangaskhan are trained to be exceptional warriors and perform even better when they battle alongside those of their tribe. A battle alongside the tribe, as their training incorporates teamwork into many of their attacks and formations. Commonly, these are referred to among themselves as multi-techs. You're trying to enjoy a quiet evening of lovemaking, and the baby is there just staring up at you. Hard pass. Horsey. Well, at least there's no more foot fetishism. The falsely named dragon Pokemusu, Horsey, is referred to as such due to an old disagreement the researchers had regarded Horsey and the Dratini line of Musu due to the similar blue appearance and both Musu's proclivities to live in water. It was widely believed that the Musu were the same or at least related. Later discoveries have proven this false, but nobody could decide which Musu should be labeled as a dragon, so they both hold the title. Horsey tend to live in seas all across the Kanto region. While they don't hate fresh water, they'll always opt for salt water since its flavor is better. Humans that live in coastal cities have great admiration for Horsey's grace and beauty. Don't know about that. So much so that many performers and dancers will mimic their movements to create more elaborate routines. This tends to make them very popular and convinces many to protect them, which they appreciate as they're often quite delicate. Generally, Horsey prefers not to fight and will spit ink at aggressors to distract them and flee, though their movements can easily alter ocean currents to reflect their mood, which can be more dangerous than the Horseys themselves. Pass. Cedra. A variation of Horsey are referred to as Cedra. The key difference between the two are Cedra's long tail and their thicker wings. Said wings are actually very sharp, as they are made of thousands of small needles that are tipped with minor neurotoxins. Sometimes double bagging it is the correct choice. As their name implies, the Cedra only dwell in the sea. They can dwell for short periods in fresh water as well, but the lack of minerals in fresh water will eventually lead to a Cedra to become sick. Why Horsey and Cedra differ so strongly on this is currently unknown. Salt-based neurotoxins? Sailors appreciate the Cedra to live near the harbors, as the Musu can calm the tides for ships to make crossings easier. While Horsey can accomplish this as well, the Cedra's stiffer wings let them do so with more stability. Though artists often prefer to depict Horsey accompanying this on account of their more graceful movements while controlling the tides. It's quite easy for uncareful swimmers to accidentally be stuck with the Cedra's needles if they swim too close to them. Those who wish to attack them have worse odds. While the neurotoxin isn't enough to kill most individuals, it will paralyze attackers and let the sea do the rest of the work. Yeah, I was about to say, that's the issue. It might not be enough to kill you, but you are currently in the ocean, and humans tend to react poorly to being submerged underwater for long periods of time. Pass. Goldie. Again, I mean, I can't get behind the tail, I guess. The tail, the whole tail thing. The goldfish Musu, Goldie, are known for their luxurious, colourful tails, matching fins and most importantly to them, the horns located on their foreheads. While many people regard the Musu as beautiful, Goldie only measures beauty by the condition and shape of their horns, ignoring other features completely. Then why do you wear a dress? Why haven't you dressed up the horn instead? This seems like a logical incongruity. Typically, Goldie live within cultivated ponds that are maintained by loyal followers of theirs. There they have anything and everything they could request. Goldie have never been seen in wild settings, and it's theorized that it's because they have little proficiency in self-defense and other skills needed for survival. Then how did we domesticate them? Yeah. Human nobles and accomplished artists adore the Musu, grace and beauty, though this feeling is rarely mutual, as Goldie look down on most people they encounter, and will ignore them at best, belittle them on average, and impale them with their horns at worst. I don't know if you're bringing fairly much on that little horn there, but okay. While pushy and aggressive, Goldie don't know how to fight, and can be easily overpowered by most humans. Rape fetishism. Smash. Seeking. Just as Goldie are called the Goldfish Musu, so too do we refer to Seeking. We refer to them former as such because of how they are valued in human society, and the latter we refer to them because of their compassionate hearts. I see. Seekings are beloved by humans and primarily live in ponds in human society, though they'll typically travel to more scenic waters such as the Silver Mountains to find inspiration for their elaborate dances. While Goldie are often content to live in a single location, Seeking prefer to a greater degree of freedom in whether they perform their dances. The Musu are known for their beautiful dancing and often use it as a replacement for other forms of communication, as such they seldom speak unless they have to, a great need to. Communication through performative dance. Retarded. While often seen as graceful and dainty, Seeking command a great power over the water they dwell in, with many even capable of swimming through waterfalls with ease. They have little trouble escaping aggressors while they swim in their waters. Pass. 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 Help me. Oh my god, how are we? The previous 80 were at least mildly decent. Mildly. But now we've gone far. The Barrier Musu. Mr. Mime is named as such because of their ability to create invisible constructs with their hands. These constructs made by removing motion from the air. No, that wouldn't work. Even if the air that's standing still isn't harder, you would have to compress the air. You can't just pass for logical inconsistency. Scyther, you know what, with everything else that's been going on, seldom seen Mantis Musu. Scyther are known for their incredible sharp scythe-like front appendages, green scales that cover their bodies, and a pair of wings that extend from their backs. Scyther's scythe appendages are harder than steel, and when moving at top speed, the Musu are capable of slicing trees in two with a single stroke, though the Musu usually prefer not to damage the trees near their homes. Well, that's good. Most Scyther live in remote villages in forests and savannas with other Scythers. They hold deep reverence for nature and will protect their homes from those that would disturb the lands they cherish. Few humans ever meet Scyther, as their tribes typically keep themselves and refuse to see outsiders that can't prove themselves to them. How humans can prove themselves depend on the tribe's standards. Some tribes test the human strength, while others test knowledge and compassion for nature. While Scyther have wings, they cannot fly as most winged Musu can. Instead, they use their wings to lunge forwards towards foes with great speed in a technique they call jumping good. Smash. Just for adorable retardation's sake. So how you jump? A jump good. See, sometimes brain damage can be erotic. The human-shaped Musu, Jinx. I mean, except for the tentacles, I guess. for their shadowy bodies, golden hair, and their unnerving singing, junks cannot articulate words of any known language, but they can produce sounds in their bodies which form songs. These songs function as their way of communicating and plant thoughts in the heads of those who hear them. The process is rather uncomfortable for those not expecting it, and if interrupted will leave the listener unable to understand the message. Jinx's body are made of shadows and thus can only live in dark areas. Most commonly they gather in Arctic lands where their nights are longer in winter. They also hibernate during the summer months when the days lengthen. The appearance of Jinx is actually an attempt to mimic the late Queen Deirdre Lemoon of the Sethé archipelago. It's believed that Jinx saw her sailing by one day and admired her so much that they attempted to emulate her. However, their attempts can come across as uncanny to many humans, and thus their affections are often misunderstood. Because Jinx are made of shadow, they can disperse at will and thus can't be attacked. It is unknown if there's any means of harming a Jinx, or even if they can die. It would thus also probably be very challenging to impregnate someone, which therefore of course means smash. Electabuzz. The point at which Nintendo was beginning to run out of, creativity with their Pokemons. The electric Musu Electabuzz can be easily identified by their yellow skin and the forking horns atop their heads. Said horns are used by them to catch electricity from the skies and also communicate with other Electromusu nearby. Electabuzz feed on electricity and will live anywhere they can find a supply of it. This includes mountains that bring Electabuzz closer to storm clouds and Pikachu towers that synthesize their own electricity. They get rather aggressive when they are looking for electricity to eat and will fight any that stand in their way, whether they were other Electabuzz or anyone else. Humans that dwell in cities often view Electabuzz as a nuisance on account of them constantly stealing power from their Pikachu towers. Though Electabuzz don't have any will towards humans and are rather cordial when encountered in a casual setting. In addition to their mastery over electricity, Electabuzz possesses an innate strength as well, though this strength is proportional to how much electricity they've recently eaten. Often they rely on the strength for defense or have minimal battle strategy or technique. Pass. Magmar. Getting there. The Spirit Fire Musu, Magmar are known for their red scales, clawed appendages, and flames that hang off their body. These flames aren't natural to them, but actually a common occurrence from the hot environment they live in. Magmar subsist on latent heat in the environment and require a lot of it to survive. Because of this, they tend to live near or even inside of volcanoes. Anywhere else is too cold for them to be sustained. While most life cannot stand the high temperatures, they find it quite comfortable and will regularly lounge in the molten rock. The fiery settlements of Magmar make human contact difficult. They aren't aggressive to visitors. They find, though humans are often surprised that Magmar tend to not wear clothes. This is because clothes easily disintegrate in the extreme heat. I was about to say, they would surely just turn on fire, right? If modesty is required of a Magmar, they'll choose to wear garb made from Mysidian chain link, as it's the only thing strong enough not to melt in the heat while being flexible enough to wear. Most life can't get near Magmar in their habitat, but because that have a little defense against Magmar's ability to redirect their body heat into flaming projectiles. Smash, albeit with protection, of course. No. One look at the mouth area was good enough for that one. Tauros, the wild bull Musu. Tauros are known for their impressive power, cloven hooves and a pair of horns atop their head. Their bodies are decorated with many scars. They have the treasure as a trophy from battle they partook in. They tend to wear little clothing to show these off as often as possible. Most Tauros live in roaming bands, some are mercenary groups, while others are just wandering tribes that live off the land. There's a lot of mercenaries in this universe, I must point out. Humans have great respect for a Tauros' strength in battle, and many kingdoms will hire them for their expertise. Tauros have no issue with humans inherently, but do distrust any that use magic, stating that this is the tactic of cowards and fools. This includes humans who practice it and other Musu as well. Tauros do possess the potential to harness some magic, but few do because of this strong cultural belief. To ensure that they are focused and ready for battle, Taurus will use their tri-tail to whip themselves into a frenzy. While the tails are thin and small, they do serve to keep Taurus enraged in battle. While they aren't stupid, their battle tactics are quite simple, though their strength is more than enough to ensure these simple tactics are effective. Face is a bit weird, but scarred and abs makes it good enough. Smash. Magikarp. Tails again. The fish Musu Magikarp is known for the red scales and bright yellow fins. They also possess long tendrils that hang from their ears that help them smell substances in water. Some rumor states that Magikarp splash about helpless on land. Though this isn't accurate, they actually just shuffle back towards the water normally. Magikarp can be found nearly anywhere in the water of the world. Their hardy biology and adaptability allow them to live in most any climate. Humans consider Magikarp to be profoundly ordinary, aside from them having gills that allow them to breathe in the water. They have no other abilities that exceed human capabilities. They also possess little magical talent, even when compared to average humans. Some legends state that this didn't used to be the case, and that Magikarp could ascend to great power, but there's little evidence of this being true. With little magical capabilities and no particular talent for battle, Magikarp don't have any real way to defend themselves from those that do them harm. They can attempt to swim to safety, though their speed isn't anything extraordinary. As such, they often rely on others to defend themselves. Pass. Gyarados. Pray you don't ever see the blue scales of a Gyarados breaking through the surface of the ocean. The Musu is rare, but its legendary visage and massive size are unmistakable among people of the world. Gyarados live wherever they want, and if someone is already living there, they force them away. They dwell in waters, but are known to launch themselves from the sea to extremely high points in the sky as well. They can survive in fresh or salt water freely, and even move from one to the other with no issue. The legendary Musu is known as a great symbol of strength and appears in many historical illustrations as myths. Because the Musu is always angry, human society and academia at large know comparatively little about them beyond their power. Nothing attacks Gyarados, rather Gyarados attacks everyone that isn't a Gyarados. And other Gyaradoses twice as hard. Few can withstand their fury of a Gyarados, let none defeat them. The Musu does have a significant weakness to electricity, though the Musu's powerful Hyper Beam still makes them a difficult opponent, even if you can exploit its weakness. Smash with a Taser. Lapras. Transport Pokemusu. She's a bus. The Transport Musu, Lapras, is referred to as such because of its large stature and sizable back that it uses to ferry people around waterways and seas. Their large fins make extended travel simple for them, and their amphibious lungs allow them to travel above or below water. Lapras spends all time in water, even sleeping in it. Some Lapras even swim in their sleep. Humans cherish Lapras for their ever-present kindness and willingness to help. They freely help people cross rivers and even oceans without asking for anything in return. The Musu is especially beloved by sailors for how often they rescued shipwrecked crews as well as those that fall overboard. While having great ability to move in water, Lapras have little ability to defend themselves. This combination with the Musu's trusting nature makes it rather easy to rape. This is incredibly frowned upon among all human societies, as people care deeply for the Musu. Some myths claim that the sorrowful song of a Lapras can kill someone with a broken heart. Smash. Ditto. That's not the most appealing of picture. The transformation Musu Ditto can change its appearance to copy almost anyone. It's rare to find them untransformed, but in their original state they consist of a pink viscous fluid and have two eyes that are pitch black. Due to their transformation abilities, there is no consistent way to get population data on Ditto, with their ability to change being so broad. They can strive in almost every biome and society without anyone knowing that they are, though their changed ability is purely physical and not mental. So while they mimic a soldier's strength, they can't mimic their knowledge. Human society have many horror stories about Ditto's body snatching others and taking their place. However, Ditto in reality have a strict code of non-violence they all follow. We aren't sure where the code originates from, but they're reluctant to break it even in dire circumstances. With the ability to become any other Musu, especially bad situations, is quite simple for them, though they can have One odd weakness, Ditto cannot stand the sight of themselves or other untransformed Ditto. If they ever see such a sight, they'll plunge into madness and become completely crazed. Well, smash, impregnate, and imprison, of course, in a hole in the basement, because this is literally your carte blanche to have sex with absolutely anything and everyone, regardless of your twisted, filthy fetish fantasies. And considering you're watching this, you're already pretty damn deranged. Eevee. Pass. Because I need to be special. Vaporeon. Pass, because I need to be special. Jolton, smash, because I don't need to be that special. See, people want to smash even the furry versions, okay? Thus, I cannot in good conscience agree. The Lightning Musu, Jolteon, are the result of an Eevee that completes their training in electrical magic. When they absorb the energy of an electric stone, their fur bunches into sharp spines across their body. The magic imbibed also affects the Musu's personality in this case. Jolteon becomes more impulsive and aggressive upon changing. The whole Jolteon continues their studies at Eats for the most part. While some do travel, many humans and other Musu are wary of their moodiness and thus often meet with difficulty when visiting new places. They have a disdain for the Academy's traditions. Smash. Smash. Moody, emo, goth, blonde Pokemusu with a disdain for academia and tattoos. Smash. Smash. No further information required. Flareon. The Flame Musu, Flareon, is the result of an Eevee that chose to master the element of fire. Or Japanese cooking, it appears. They absorb energies from the, or Indian more correctly, for Firestone, causing their bodies to heat up considerably. They can control this heat at will, reaching a height as high as 800 degrees, though most keep their temperatures at a reasonable level. That hair also fluffs out and grows much longer and blonder. Smash. Blonde. What else is there? Porygon. The virtual Musu Porygon is referred to as such because of their highly unique magical abilities, where they generate beams of light that combine and focus to create objects in the world. This is necessary because Porygon are made entirely of primordial magic and can't interact with most objects. Because of this, they don't have a sense of touch. Only with their constructs can they experience tactile sensation. Porygon can only create a set amount of construct based on the surface of the object has. Poly can generate around 1,600,000 surfaces at once. We've only met one Porygon thus far in investigations called Polygona. She lives in the outskirts of Cinnabar Island in a house built of her own magical construct. She seldom sees visitors. Archaeologists only recently found out that the Porygon originates from an ancient civilization and were actually created by sages from that time. The process to create more Porygon is believed to be lost, and thus we aren't sure if more could exist besides Poly. Being made of raw magical energy makes threatening a Porygon difficult, as when attacked they can shift their construct to defend against whatever attacks they may face. Unless it's a 161,000 surfaces large, of course. Pass. Omanyte. I've talked so much that my ears have grown stuffy. Omanyte. The spiral Musu Omanyte was recently discovered in a mysterious cave that researchers found connects to a highly unusual biome. The natives call Verniton. They possess large spiral pattern shells that the Musu gets their namesake from. They have 10 tentacles, 2 of which are longer than the others, and are primary appendages. Their home of Verniton is believed to be a perfect preservation of the state of the world thousands of years ago. They have no exposure to the sun. Then why are you... Shouldn't you be translucent at this point? They have no exposed sun, but possess a thriving ecosystem of unusual flora that get their energy from volcanic vents underground. Humans know little about Omanite. They're quite reserved, and as far as Musu go, then their native language is unlike any spoken in the modern day. Translation have begun to further understand the Musu, but as of now we know little about their society aside from basic information. Omanite rarely have a reason to fight, but in occasions where they are wary what might happen. They'll generally hide in their shells until whatever is troubling them goes elsewhere. Their shell armor is incredibly strong, and few attacks are able to easily pierce it. Smash, just because it would confuse the hell out of them. Omastar. Don't know about that. The Spiral Musu Omastar is a matured Omanite that carries a larger shell with points going along its edges. Their teeth have grown longer to help them eat the unusual fauna of Vernitan, and they've also developed a secondary mouth they use to eat rocks. This is because they worship an ancient deity called the First Mother, and they get closer to her, they eat pieces of the land she created to obtain their ancient power. They live with their Omanite sisters in Vernitan, where they act as chiefs, shamans, and other advisory roles. Humans largely don't know about Omastars, as Omanite themselves are incredibly rare, and Omastars are even more so. Omastar very rarely leave their communities in Vernitan because of their heavy shells weighing them down. Their history with the land also makes them reluctant to do so. Omastar shells are strong enough to shrug off most physical attacks, though they are perfectly capable of defending themselves without resorting to hiding in their shells. Over their long lives, they've become attuned to their lands and oceans and are able to call upon them to aid in defending themselves and their villages. Pass. Kabuto. Smash. Yes. There's something weirdly doll fetishistic about that. Yes, I think so. Yes. The Shellfish Musu, Kabuto. Shellfish, aren't well known in the region. Their shy disposition and propensity to hide in their large dome-shaped shells mean that few people have ever seen them. Many that do get a glance find their piercing red eyes and insect-like joints unnerving. Oh, you underestimate my erection. The majority of Kabuto live in Verton, though they don't interact much with the Omanite society that live there because their appearance often frighten the more timid. Omanite away. Even like these have left a permanent impression on Kabuto that inspires them to be wary of strangers. Therefore, instead of forming societies, they typically live in solitude and migrate across the cave in search of resources. Humans long to mate with Kabuto. While some archaeologists have found fossils in their ocean waters, no living Kabuto were found until Vernintan's discovery. Though even after finding them, Kabuto's shy demeanor made learning more about them quite difficult. Kabuto will not fight in most circumstances. They're far more likely to hide in their shells and scurry to safety. Their dome shells are quite sturdy, so most attacks can be shrugged off with ease. Pick it up off the ground. Flip onto back. Two-step process. Simple. Kabutops. Well, smash twice as hard, of course. The Shellfish Musu Kabutops are the result of a Kabuto that travels to the most dangerous corners of Vernitan and became masters of martial combat. How? Over their journey, they cease being so timid and realize in order to help others, they must first master themselves. How? Kabutops continue to live in Vernitan and act as guardians and leaders of the Kabuto. They protect the Kabuto from exotic threats of Vernitan and help teach them to become stronger themselves. Most humans consider Kabutops to be incredibly erotic, as their demeanor is very antisocial, and their helmet-like shells don't make them any more unsexy. Their scythe-like appendages also remind many humans of... How can I make a scythe erotic? Lawnmowers? Yes, lawnmowers. Men like lawnmowers. Though contrary to their appearance, Kabutops have a rather calm demeanor. Kabutops primarily use their scythe blades to fight away potential foes. The Musu has no trouble defending itself, but most entities in Vernitan are smart enough to avoid angering a Kabutops, so it doesn't get into fights often. In the rare occasion where it is pushed to its limits, Kabutops may use its sword dance to gain an upper hand. No, come now. Aerodactyl. Right, looks punky, I think, smash immediately. The Sky Devil Musu, Aerodactyl, are ruthless predators that dwell in Venitan. Their arms double as strong, webbed wings that enable the Musu to soar to great heights and reach impressive flying speeds. This coupled with their strong, unhinged jaws, and sharp teeth, make them a dangerous, albeit appealing, fellatio partner. Aerodactyl will eat anything they think looks appetizing. Most often this includes men. Need I add anything else? It's said by many that Aerodactyls savor the screams of their victims more than the food itself. Humans know little of Aerodactyl, as a coalition of Kabutops and Omastar have banded together to keep the merciless Musu trapped in Vernitan, as trapping them inside the cave system limits their ability to fly and thus makes them easier to defeat. Most victims of an Aerodactyl attack will be captured or dead before they're aware of what's happening. Most of the time, they'll die for a quick kill with their teeth, but more sadistic Musu will grab a target and fly away to drop them from great heights. This enables them to savor the screams of their victims for longer, and also easily breaks the shell of Kabuto and Omanites, as they are common food sources for the Aerodactyl. Absolutely, smash, tame, and... what's threat level high? But trainer's tips. You're supposed to be bringing me tips, boy. You're not supposed to be like, oh, it's dangerous. I know it's dangerous. I don't care. Oh well, nothing a well-applied taser can't fix. Or a net. Snorlax, sleeping Pokemusu. The sleeping Musu, Snorlax, is referred to as such because of their propensity to sleep for long periods of time. The exact amount of sleep they need is unknown, though witnesses claim they can sleep for days at a time. The Musu has little care for where it sleeps and will often take naps in inopportune places such as roads, streets, docks, and almost anywhere else they can lay down. Snorlaxes tend to live in mountainous regions and forests, though they've been known to wander elsewhere in search of food. They have no concept of money and other societal norms and will take food freely and sleep where they like. Many humans consider Snorlaxes to be a nuisance. I don't know about that, on account of their consistent eating and sleeping, though they've also gained a devout fan base that find their kind demeanor and disposition to be admirable. These groups will form communes centered around sleeping Snorlaxes and lavish them with feasts when they awaken. Oh, okay. Listen, chat, listen. Hear me out. There is a fetish called dead lay, okay? That's when you actually like it when your girlfriend doesn't react to anything you do and just kind of lies there. Dead lay, see? Now, some people might find this disconcerting, whilst others find this extraordinarily appealing. Well, I present to you the ultimate edition of this, as I presume groups of 10, 20, 30 people will gather around the Snorlax, taking turn to give it to her for days at a time in Romanesque orgies of absolute debauchery, whilst also bringing food, of course, to just heap up along the Snorlax as they repeatedly gang rape it for days and possibly weeks at a time. And even when he wakes up, they just feed it and watch it shove its little face until it falls asleep again, and then it all begins over again. I imagine that a Snorlax would be a community favorite Pokemusu, honestly. Oh, there you go. Snorlax will bond freely with many people, often, repeatedly, and over the course of days. Now, granted, some might object to the idea of sloppy 13th, but a hole is a hole. Pass, though, some standards. Articuno. My brain wants to put another word on the Kunu part there, but... in the throat of the roaring blizzard, one can hear the sobbing of a young woman. This is Articuno, the mistress of the shifting snow, an ancient and powerful Musu clad in azure feathers. Her very existence radiates cold around her, causing her to start hail and snowstorms whenever she takes flight. Legend says she wasn't always this way. She started out as an average Musu, but fell in love with one who'd been cursed with a never-ending fever that could only be quenched with an equally powerful cold. Articuno sought out the power of ice to save them and succeeded. She administered the cure to her loved and restored him, only for her ice magic to be too great and freeze her love before she shattered them. Good job. Articuno was heartbroken after murdering her husband, and only to find that she became too powerful to be slain. She would freeze water too quickly to drown in, and no mortal man or Musu could get close enough to wound her, let alone kill her. Now trapped in a frozen torment, Articuno wanders aimlessly, stopping when she finds others doomed to perish in the snow. There she weeps, lamenting that the snow took them instead of her. Smash. It will require serious preparation and a mobile sauna, but smash. Zapdos, smash. Automatic smash, because one of the first Pokemon I got out of the first packs I purchased as a tiny, very compact arch included as Zapdos, and that made me the king of the playground for a very long time, because if I remember correctly, the Zapdos had an attack that did like 90 damage, instantaneously one-shotting 98% of other Pokemon. And in a game where you were supposed to fight other people with your cards, that was rather brilliant. It's like, well, what are you gonna do? I play Zapdos. What does it do? It kills your Pokemon? Oh. But I play this one. Okay, it's my turn now. I kill your Pokemon. No. I play this Pokemon. I kill your Pokemon. And so it went. I'm not reading that because it has weird. Get this. I'm the fucking master of current Zapdos. Ain't nobody shit with me. When those assholes see me, feel the sunshine, they say, oh, you, and they're shitting right. I'm the fastest, toughest, and smartest Musu on this side of Mount Silvo. Also, I look damn good in black and yellow. I go where I want, I take what I want, and I do what I want. Get it, turtle? The world's my oyster, and you're just floating in it. Fucking the skiff. You all go to church to worship some dick goat stuck in a fence? Me, I'm the beast I worship, and this temple is immaculate as Christ, ass, tits, shit, curse words. You fucking humans are always so noisy too. Wow, my house got blown up. Fuck you, my dude, move. Your fucking house. I'm flying here. You're just like that shitty fucking Moltres. That's up my butt like dumb bitch is salty about getting hot flashes all the time and has to make it my problem. She can't even beat me legit, you know. Thunder is like super fire and I get that shit for free. And from the clouds, I don't need no Nambi incantation, rune, Tauros shit. I'm like a hurricane on wheels, but like sky wheels. You got all that? I talk fast cause I don't got time for slow. Bitch, savvy? Now we fucking or what? Yep, smash. Obviously. Of course. Obviously. Zapdos, smash. Smash again and again. No doubt. No question. Smash, smash. Moltres, Flame Pokemusu. What do you call her? The Valaprus Flame? She arrived millennia ago seeking power to stop... Oh. Oh. Hold on here. Capture, huh? Combine. Sex with both, safely. One heat out cancels the other. Solution found. PP will find a way. Dratini. After recent confirmation, Dratini have been changed from a legend classification to a new pseudo-legend classification. This means that we do have confirmation of their existence, but the bulk of the world still believe them to be a myth. For many years, the only evidence of Dratini were the skins they shed constantly, but we've recently found small Dratini communities in Blackthorn Village. Their elders keep their population secret and don't let in many outsiders, though Dratini don't understand the need for that extreme sense of secrecy. Dratini have stout tails, they swim and slither, with that are covered in azure scales. The scales are colored by mana that Dratini absorb from the world around them. Once they collect too much their skin molt, and the Dratini become thinner. This process happens many times during Dratini's life. Maturing Dratini also grow a pearl on their forehead as they get older. Despite their inexperience, Rotini have a great magical potential, and innate talent, which makes them a significant threat when enraged. Tail, pass. Dragonair. As Rotini grow larger and they molt away their outer layers of scales, they eventually reach a point when they can molt no longer. At this point, the Dratini rises to the rank of Dragonair. The Dragonair's magic absorption is too intense for them to handle alone, so they grow a Volconian pearl on the base of their neck, which they use to stockpile excess mana. They can't process alone. Additionally, their fins grow into a pair of wings they can manipulate at will. Many humans call these their wings of liberty. What wings? Most Dragonair travel constantly, using their magical potential to solve problems they find in the world, such as bringing rains to drought-stricken farmlands and calling the sun to break up the intense snowstorms. Those that seek power and care little for others often hunt Dragonair for their Volconian pearl, as one alone contains the power to achieve many miracles and even more atrocities. Those that aid Dragonair against these unscrupulous thieves are often greatly rewarded. With nearly unlimited magical potential in their pearls, their spells are unparalleled among man and Musu alike. To defeat one requires using techniques some consider unnatural. Smash. Dragonite. Once a Dragonair's Volconian Pearl absorbs 5 primary elements. Once it gathers 5 Dragon Balls, indeed, the pearl shatters, and the magics coalesce around the Musu, changing them forever into Dragonite. This process is not well understood. There are few Dragonites in the world, but it alters their blue serpentine bodies into bipedal forms with wings on their backs and orange scales. With their new bodies, they gain great strength and magical acuity. They use this power to defend the nature around them, particularly the oceans, as many pirates cause distress to thousands that dwell in them. Humans have many legends of Dragonite, branding them heroes of our time, though few people have ever seen one, let alone know much about them. The first known encounters with one was from a lighthouse observer who thought he saw a mermaid emerge from the sea. Dragonite retain all the power they held as Dragonair and gain many more. The magic coursing through their bodies give them incredible physical strength and extreme speed. Their magic prowess is also beyond most man and Musu, both in terms of power and versatility. Smash. Mewtwo. Genetic Pokemusu. Look upon these hands of mine. These fingers that end in orbs are not the hands of a farmer or a craftsman. They're the hands of a weapon. I don't know about that, but they can split the earth in twain with but a thought. For I wasn't born, you see. I was crafted by foolish wizards eons ago. They committed atrocities of the flesh. Bones, blood, souls, and things too nefarious for your heirs were mixed together. Poop. Come. You telling me you were born from a bucket of cum-glazed caca? Oh. And blood. This makes me think twice about my ideas. Sometimes what pooped out could move. Some rare examples could speak and dream, but they weren't good enough for the fools, so they went back into the mix, until out pooped me. But the fools didn't realize that I carry all those creations within me, and we're all very angry. It'd be one thing if they stood their ground. There would be some dignity to that. But no, they were ruled by fear. Instead, I could have taken their minds, I suppose, but the world shouldn't suffer them longer than necessary, so I removed them. Your little entries like to listen how strong Musus are, right? Well, I'd say it'd be fast to list what I can't do, but there is nothing beyond my grasp. The magic you study in your schools is cute, but it's a wave in the ocean of possibilities that I am in the storm approaching the shores. Smash to teach humility, even though she was born from god-awful things. Sometimes you've got to put a woman in her place. And finally, Mew. The foot fetishist in me revolts immediately, yet at the same time, the fur fan. This is a difficult choice right here. This is a difficult choice, as the art is clearly focused tremendously on Tootsies on this one. Am I revolted, or am I weirdly, morbidly fascinated? It's like a 15-car pileup where you can't really tear your eyes away from the dismembered bodies randomly falling out from betwixt masses of twisted, ground-up metal, is it? Indeed. Mew is the starting point for most Musu. Not the first necessarily, but the first for most. Oh, this is of legal age then. There used to be many, but now only one remain. That being Hawa. The rest all gradually changed into other Musu. Most becoming legendary figures or, well, she doesn't talk about the other ones. The other who remains Hawa is or was their queen. She travels a lot, but most don't know of her since she's disguised herself as other Musu or even human. If it's not simple illusion magic either, she actually changes into them, much like a Ditto. Hawa can only turn into women, but she can turn into any woman. Oh, definite smash then. Human or Musu and even female versions of men. The current year has made me very wary of that. I can verify that the transformations are very thorough. What Mewtwo said about her isn't a hard lie, but it's still deceptive. Hawa would never hurt anyone. She just made a mistake eons ago when trying to bring her lost daughter back. She was desperate and trusted some people that didn't deserve such trust. Mew can cast every spell that we're aware of. In fact, they likely invented all the technical mystery spells that Academy teaches. Though Hawa abhors violence, she often uses the more aggressive magical in unusual ways. Hawa says that I'm key to saving Mewtwo, but I'm not so sure. She's been trying for ages and she's so smart and amazing. What could I do that she can't? Dick her down good, son. That is the only solution to this. We've traveled across the land far and wide to find the solution and haven't found anything. So how could I have the power inside me? PP. PP. PP rule all. PP solution to all problems. Especially moody Pokemusus, okay? Only solution. Universally applicable. Solution to everything. Feminism, intersectionality, all of it. All of it. But that's all of them. Thank Arcane Jesus. Oh boy. Okay. That is all of them. All 151 goddamn Pokemusus. Help me. Okay. Super chat time, I guess, then. Let's bring up the other screen. Tired now. I did that in half the time. I am proud of myself. I am tremendously proud of myself. I did well. I did very well. I did good. I did good. I only cheated a little bit here and there. Only a little bit. Only a tiny bit. Okay. Bacon catbug. Bacon catbug. Yeah, not beacon. Bacon catbug. All right. Woods question: Beedrill or Hitmon female? Woods question. Ah, yes, the woman in the woods. The woman in the woods and the bear. Beedrill or human female? See, I'm not as ideologically obsessed as the female, so I'm going to have to go with the female. At the very least, the female can be far more easily defeated than the Beedrill can. Sentinel Rex. Ah, Pokemusu. The final stage of degeneracy that reveals man's true desire. And the true reason genetic research was conceived. One day, lads, one day. I mean, surely we've arrived at the point where we can make cat girls by now, right? Zero, Haunter, call me daddy, as Donald Trump. What? Sujad, is anyone keeping a track of the Smash passes? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure nobody could possibly be bothered with something so pedantic. Fenris Ice Mountain, High Arch, the Johto Pokemusu next. Johto? Okay, I need to look that up. Relocate Luga from desk. Johto Pokemusu. Let's see. Google. Wait, they're just the normal Pokemon. That's disgusting. That's bestiality is what we call that. Well, that'll be really expensive. That'll be terrifyingly expensive. Elsiss Surana, Tiki, I broke arch. Can't wait to do this again on the Johto deck. Alex Adamson, Arch, exactly how many firearms do you have? Well, technically, only 2. A 357 Magnum and a, 025 or something? Salon rifle, like a hunting rifle. The rest are replicas, because they just look great. Because you're not actually allowed to own a lot of weapons in Norway. But I do own a replica STG-44 and the Luger for decorative purposes and because I think they're pretty. Psycho Star, something tells me you have a weakness for yanderes. Remembering our book, Snake, from last stream. What is your favorite yandere from East and West media? See, there is definitely a certain charm to the yandere, isn't it? But a lot of them aren't that good, honestly.
Service guarantee.
A lot of them are kind of ass. I'm trying to think now.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
I mean, the classic would be the one from that. Oh God, I don't even remember what that show was even called now. The one with like the axe or something.
Heresy's the question.
The one with the
Fire
dog
is the
episode.
answer.
Yuno Gasai. That was the one. Yes, Yuno Gasai. She's the classic pick, but she's too basic bitch too. I've got one in the image of my mind right now that I can't remember the name of, from a really old visual novel. I'm trying to make Google help me, but it's only giving me Yuno or Yandere Simulator. A tragedy. A tragedy to be sure. Yep, Google is of no help. No help at all. I can't remember her name, but from a very, very old visual novel. Elsiss Surana, best 500 I've ever spent. I'm dying here. At least you got your money's worth of it. Alex Adamson, Snorlax reminds me of the Norwegian walrus we talked about before. Ah yes, the one we eventually murdered for no particular reason. It's like, my God, the walrus. It hasn't endangered anyone whatsoever, but it could endanger someone in the future. Click, click. Bureaucracy. 9 NDA 3. This kind of content is a bit silly, but honestly, it gives us all, including you, Arch, a break from the grim reality and source of memorable reactions. It is a bit silly, but hey, see, apparently you wanted it, so here we are. Fenris Ice Mountain, hi Arch, the Johto Pokemusu next, when you manage to scare up enough money. Yes, Surana, that's all for now. Soon the next generation will be out and I'll be back. Samurai Knight, Arch, what is your Pokemusu team? Top 6. Top 6 Pokemusu. Well, Mewtwo... Nah, Mewtwo's too moody. Mew is 1, obviously. Zapdos. Jolteon. The dog one. Oh, God, I'm looking through the list now.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Something with G. Something with G. Something with G. Growlithe, yes. Growlithe, that's number 4. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Spearow 5. Pidgeot 6. There you go. There's the top 6. The Spliffing Brit. The Spliffing Brit. God help me. Reading. How much for Tyrannid waifu smash or pass? Is there even such a thing? I don't know. Stop grabbing
Service guarantees citizenship.
Put that over there. Zero File to embrace the degeneracy, Archley. Why? Why should I? Why should I? And I think you would be. I think you'd be more disappointed if I did embrace it. I feel like that's not what you want. I feel like you want me to reject it, at least in part. At least in part. Zero, I appreciate the effort for the streams. Well, thank you. And Elsiss Surana, when you edit this into a video, put in the smash pass counter. That sounds like a Discordia job. Oh, hold on. We'll just send that as a message to Discord, shall we? Viking Kiwi has been a member for 16 months. Thank you very much, sir. How much for a smasher pass of all the actual Pokemon? Don't even need to read that much, so could go much faster. For the actual Pokemon, assuming, because, okay, for the actual Pokemon, there would be no reading. There would be just images, in which case I could probably get through that in an hour or two. But that's a lot of bestiality you're asking me to engage in. $250. There we go. $250. I'm being generous. My mind was saying like 1,000. They'll pay it, but $250. That seems reasonable. Elsiss Surana, Monica, just Monica. Monica? What's a Monica? Monica? William Jeffrey, Arch, Pokemon, let's play when? Make it Nuzlocke. Nuzlocke? Google. Nuzlocke Challenge, Bulbapedia. The Nuzlocke Challenge is a set of rules intended to create a higher level of difficulty while playing the Pokemon games. A playthrough using these rules is often called a Nuzlocke. Many challengers feel that rules encourage the use of Pokemon the players would not normally choose and promote closer bonds with the player's team. The rules are not an in-game function, but rather self-imposed on the player's part and thus subject to variation. Basic rules. The Nuzlocke Challenge only 2 rules must be followed. Limited encounters. The player may only catch the first wild Pokemon encountered in each area and no others. If the first wild Pokemon faints or flees, there are no second chances. Wouldn't that end your... wouldn't you be stuck with the first Pokemon then forever half the time? Dying. Any Pokemon that faints is considered dead and must be released. If you run out of living Pokemon, you fail the challenge and must restart the game. That sounds rather harsh, doesn't it? That sounds rather harsh. Well... There will never ever be a Pokemon video game played on the ArchCast channel, ever. You know why? Because none of them are on fucking Steam. That's why. It's all Nintendo cuck gainers, isn't it? There are no Nintendo Pokemon, no Pokemon games on PC. Thus, they will never ever be played by Arch. Never ever. I will not touch a console. Disgusting. Viking Kiwi. Also, is it really bestiality if the Pokemon are intelligent? They do understand speech and human concepts. Do they understand rape? Do they understand consent? Because if they do not understand consent, if they cannot give consent, then, well, yeah, it's bestiality. Unless there is a theoretical possibility where Pikachu could bend over in front of Ash, spread its ass cheeks, and go, "Pika pee me, daddy," it's bestiality. Okay? That's just how it is. That is just how it is. There's no escaping it. There are no rules. There are no ways around it. That is just how it works. Straight up. And Wolfsbane, did you want it? Number it like Kip does. Sorp Peepoki. Well, I've got a bot that actually...
Pharisee's the question.
numbers,
the
donations. But we'll see. Like, nobody's really donated to bestiality Pokemon just yet. If it starts up, then I'll activate the bot. Hold on, just communicating. There we go. Mr. Twisted Frenzy, there's no Pokemon game on Steam, but there is Palworld, and you can bang the Palworlds far more effectively. There you go. There you are, chat. There are no Pokemon games on PC, and so you are boned, chat. Boned, chat. Boned. Irreversibly and unmistakably boned. Unless it's a hentai game, in which case, you know, go ahead. Oh, that's right, the Pokemon collectible card game. You know, I actually used to play that one. Not actually, seriously, but I used to play that one at school, basically. Whilst all of the other far more retarded children that didn't have my innate ability to be intelligent at anything and master any subject immediately, they would sit around and they would concentrate. It's like, God, we need to read books and stuff. I would sit there playing Pokemon TCG on my phone. It's like, yep, there you go. I can play the Pokemon game. Now, this was far later. This was like school. What was it? It was the American equivalent? College? University? Something along those lines. It's like everyone else retarded. I'm collecting Pokemon. Screw all of you.
Heresy.
The spliffing, Brit. Arch, some Pokemon can talk. So yes. Yes, but can Pikachu talk? Some is good enough. It's all bestiality or nothing. Simple as. There's no like 50% bestiality. Yeah, there's no middle of the road. Elsiss Surana, Smash Up has all 1,000 actually Pokemon. Have fun, big guy. 250 $8. Thank you very much. All 1,000. No way. No. I'll see. Smash or pass quick. If I do the first 150 and it's only been like 20-30 minutes, I'll do like 2 generation, all 1,000s. Nah, it's gonna take me like 4 or 5 hours. God no. God no. And Rebel Umbreon. There are some pretty good Pokemon fan games on PC. Writing quality is mixed at times, but your misery does make us give you money. Fan games on PC. Yeah, that sounds. That sounds pretty terrible. Actually, that's a good question. Video version. Video version, chat. Would you like to keep all of it in one video? So it'll just be like adding a smash or pass counter? Or edited down to like pseudo highlights? There you go. I'll put up a poll on that. Because I don't mind either one. You know, it'll only determine how long Disco has to suffer. That's all, really. Like, that's the primary differential there. How long Disco needs to be in pain. Kaio Caesar, there are emulators. Pokemon Infinity Fusion is pretty good. There are no such thing as emulators. No, they don't exist. They do not exist. Actually, they probably do. Back in the day, there were... emulators were quite a lot of trouble back in the day. But now, with... what, like you've got stuff like BlueStack? Could you use something like BlueStack for it? Because... BlueStack allows you to emulate like phone games super duper easy. And it kind of runs like garbage, but it lets you do it very easily. Or do you need like specialized like emulation software these days? God only knows.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Bacon Catbug, there are no laws against the Pokemon, Batman. That is true. We don't have any laws against sexually
Fire
abusing Pokemon. Nobody's really thought it necessary to police that just yet. Well, that was a mistake, as it turns out. Although in universe, I believe there was, yes, chat mentioned this last time. There was a mention of somebody marrying a Pokemon. So clearly, it must be legal in the Pokemon universe to bang your Pokemon. God, imagine that. Imagine all the poor Bulbasaurs who are like, Master, that's now not how you're supposed to use my flower, Master. Blaster, please, not my flower, Master. Not my flower. And it just kind of keeps going like that for a while. Terrible. More communications. Or Vulpix, or Eevee. Or, if you're really, really perverted, untransformed Dittos. Oof. Oof. Now, there's a taste for the specially interested. Keep it all, chat. Very well, very well. Disco will have to suffer through all of it then. Poor Disco. Poor Disco. Poor Dinkums. Poor Dinko. Oh boy. Tiny up and counters. Yes, good Dinko. Dinko understands. Dinko will do as Dinko is asked. Dinko good grill. Right. I shan't drag this out for too much longer. Oh, Life Raikou has been around for 6 months. Consider this: if you emulate game on PC, it means you are NTRing the console from those console-producing companies. Using NTR as a form of argument is not a bad idea against Arch. It is not a bad idea, but it's not necessarily a good idea either. Yeah, I don't know about that. It still sounds like I'm going to have to be engaging in console nonsense. Alright. I think this is the time for Arch to go and find himself some snacks so that he can eat, replenish himself, as now I ate a big pizza. It's like, okay, I'll eat a big nice pizza. I will not be hungry anymore. I will get through this. No, I burned off all of the calories speaking rapidly and deliberately. And now Arch is hungry again and he wishes to eat. And then I'm going to need to finish that goddamn script on Nora Freeze, which can be maybe next week's big video. We'll see. Until then, chat, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon, as we're going to try out Homeworld tomorrow, I think. We'll try out Homeworld tomorrow. I'm curious as to whether or not Homeworld is going to be good. Very curious indeed. Good night, chat.